Nah, today we don't need this. Today we are self-managing our application hosting because we want to flex on those who use managed hosting. Yes, we are hosting a demo of nginx application. That's it. Very simple. Genius people like simplicity. And lastly, we will point our domain to the nginx. Simply type this command. Nginx will be installed. Then we will set up a reverse proxy on the same VPS. We will run our application container on the VPS we got. Let's leave some for the rest of the video. Hey Pep, where's the intro? I am Anis, you are watching Block X3. Let's get started. New technologies like Vercel and Netlify has made it very simple to host any application. As a result, we do not see the underlying technology. As a software developer, you need to have a basic understanding of how your application is deployed to make better architectural decisions. Now, using container to deploy application has become pretty much the industry standard, so we will adhere to it and deploy our application using Docker containers. Let's talk about the prerequisites. We only need three things. First, we need a virtual private server, VPS, which is a simple virtual machine with Linux installed on it that we can access from anywhere in the world. In simple words, it's just a computer running on a cloud's platform infrastructure which we can access to work with. In terms of AWS cloud, they call it EC2. You can use any cloud provider to get yourself a VPS. In this video, I am going to use AWS EC2. You can also use your own infrastructure and compute to host, but the setup process and steps are a whole story for another video. Let's stick to EC2 for this demo. The next thing we need is a domain name. Get yourself a domain name from any domain name provider like Namecheap, Name.com, or GoDaddy, or any other. Lastly, we need an image of your application to start the container. The question is, how do you build a Docker image of your application? Different applications have steps to build their Docker images, but the baseline is that you will write a Docker file which you use to build Docker image of your application. You can search on the internet or ask ChatGPT and build the image of your application. Once the image is ready, you can push it to Docker Hub and access it from there. Just like GitHub where we store our source code, similarly Docker Hub where we can store our application images. For this demo, I'm going to use a Docker image provided by nginx for demo purposes. And that's it. And that's all what we need. Simple, right? Let's talk about the whole flow of our application hosting. We will run our application container on the VPS we got. Then we will set up a reverse proxy on the same VPS. And lastly, we will point our domain to the VPS. But wait, what is this reverse proxy? It is just an application that will receive requests from the client and forward them to our application container. In this case, we will use nginx as our reverse proxy. Let's start and get our hands dirty, shall we? Let's start by getting a VPS. You can get yourself a VPS from any cloud provider. I'm going to use AWS. If you are using AWS, follow along. If not, you can always find how to get a VPS from that particular cloud provider in their documentation. For AWS, search for EC2, go to instances and create a new instance by launching an instance. We will give it a name, super demo, Ubuntu as an image. We need to create a SSH key pair for it. I will name it test. I got it here. Test key. SSH key is downloaded. I will select an existing security group and everything else should be fine in default. Launch instance, we are good to go. Navigate to instances again. Check the public IP address of the instance we just created. Copy it and we can move to our terminal now. The SSH keys are already downloaded in my downloads folder. We can start by changing the permission of the SSH key file. You can use this command to change the permission which is suitable for SSH key file. Hit enter and next we can use this command to SSH into our machine. Hit enter, type yes, and we are successfully logged in our VPS. Let's start setting it up. So the first thing we will do is to update the VPS. Use this command to update your VPS. It can take a while depending on the internet speed and how powerful your system is. Update is completed. The next thing we are going to do is to install Docker in it. If you are on Ubuntu system, you can hit this command and Docker will be installed. Use this command to check if the Docker is installed and running correctly. Everything is fine. Now you need to pull the image of your application that you have built using Docker. For this demo purpose, I'm going to pull a Docker image of a demo nginx application. Use this command to pull the image. Image is done pulling. Before we start our container, create a Docker network. Think of it as a router where you connect your Docker containers, and container get their own IP addresses. Use this command. The network is created. You can see the network by using this command. Here is our newly created Docker network. Use this command to start the container. The command starts our container, attaches it to a new network that we just created, and has its own IP address, which is a static IP address. We are statically assigning the IP address so that it gets the same IP address even if the container or system restarts. View the started container using this command. Similarly, if your application uses database, then you can start a database container in a similar way and then pass the IP address of the database container as an environment variable to your application container. The next thing that we need is a reverse proxy. We will use nginx as our reverse proxy. To install nginx in Ubuntu, simply type this command and nginx will be installed. After installing nginx, head over to /etc/nginx. I have already written this nginx setup guide on a server in this repository. I will provide the link in the description. You can just follow along, and in this directory, go to sites enabled, and we can edit the default file here. Sudo nano default. Remove everything that is present already using Control K. Copy this entire thing, this entire configuration, and Control Shift V. We want to mention here which domain we want to use. Let's name it opendev.me. This is the domain that I will be going to use in this particular demo. And now the next thing that you need to edit is this internal IP. The IP address of our container, which is 11.0.0.2, and the port on which our server is running is 80. The next thing you need to change is this access log file name. This file will store the access logs of the web server. Just save the file, hit Ctrl O, enter, and Ctrl X to exit. The configuration is done. We just need to start the nginx server. Use this command to restart the nginx server after changing the configuration file. Successfully restarted. Now, when it comes to domain names, it's a better choice to use Cloudflare as our name server. If you do not know what a name server is, then in simple words, it is an entity that holds the record of domain to IP translation. I have a full video covering the full DNS working in case you want to learn. Link is in the description. You can change the name server of your domain in the web UI of the domain provider where you bought your domain name from. I have already done it. Now let's create the domain record. We will point the root domain to our VPS IP address. Remember to turn on the proxy. It will protect our server from DDoS attacks and hide our real server's IP. This proxy feature is the main reason Cloudflare is the best choice for a domain name server. And there you go. You are one of the few people flexing on your self-deployment skills and the knowledge of containers, reverse proxy, and domains. You can flex in the comment section with your self-hosting, self-deployments. Yeah, you're welcome. And you can argue on any of my approach in the comment section below. Also, I keep posting about new technologies, system design, and programming related things on X, former twitter.com. Link is in the description. If you already understand Docker and want to better understand it, you should probably check the inner working of Docker. Here is a fresh video for you, ready to serve you. See you in the next one. Keep watching.